Alright, I think we're live. Sorry, we'll try this again. I do apologize for that. But I see everyone's talking amongst themselves in the chat, so I guess that's better than nothing here. Okay, let's see. Popping the chat out, back on the old stream here, and I think we might be okay. So my chat was just let me know if you guys can hear me. Hopefully it's not choppy. If it is, I don't know what's going on. Crossing my fingers and toes that it is working, but I'm waiting for someone to let me know. Awesome. Is it a lot better than the last stream, guys? A lot better? Okay, good. I am so sorry. I tried to get fancy and try a new stream thing, and I guess it was just a disaster. Alright, cool. What's up, everybody? Video's choppy. Hopefully it evens out a little bit. Cool. Alright, well, I know there's a lot of people in the other one. Hopefully those people do carry over. I think there's a lot of chat. So if you did say something earlier in the other chat, you can say it again, because obviously I did not see it. But I think someone said something about Anthony Alfredo going to the rear. That does not change anything for me whatsoever. He was already in the rear, and we're pretty much just playing it for place differential anyway. Not like we're trying to get Anthony Alfredo dominator points or anything, so we should be perfectly fine. But yeah, what's up? What's up, dude? Let everyone say hi really quick. We'll get people rolling in. Hopefully the other stream still isn't going. Hopefully there's not two streams going. What's up, guys? What's up, Clint? Hit the like button, says Chris. Totally agree. Hit that like button. Really does help me out. Dude says Chris is going to the rear for illegal adjustments to his equipment. Yeah, I got my crew chief ejected. I got like 3 times failure. I'm gonna have to do a pass through. What's up, Jay? Nice to see you, man. What's up, Nick? Road course down rolls. So if you're using an optimizer this weekend, guys, for a road course, I don't really have any rules whatsoever, because road courses can be a bit wonky. Typically want place differential guys in finishing position, and I don't have a dominator group. Usually at most tracks I will have a dominator group, but when we're at road courses or like a super speedway, that's not something I typically do. So I guess the only group I would set an optimizer this weekend would be scrubs, maybe maxing it out as 1. But I wouldn't really mess with anything too much. I just let it run raw for the most part. Let's see. Chris Austin says if C-Pen doesn't get it right, we're bringing Andy in. Oh, man, that would be something, wouldn't it? What's up, Pedro? Nice to see you, man. Zach says, what 9K and above are we fading? So 9K and above, I pretty much like all these guys. The lowest guy I am on personally is, I would say, Denny Hamlin. It's nothing to be against Denny Hamlin by any means, but I just like so many guys up here. Like, I love Kurt. I like all the Hendrick drivers. I like Larson, or I guess Larson falls under the Hendrick drivers, but I love Martin Truex. I like Kyle Busch. I like Logano. So I'm going to have to just be lower on somebody. And my lowest 2 guys up top there is going to be Denny Hamlin and William Byron, just because they're starting positions, and I like a couple of other guys that are priced around them a little bit more. But this is one of the weeks where I'm actually more spread out than I think I've been any other week, maybe besides the Super Speedway, but I pretty much have exposure, I think, to 37 drivers. So I pretty much, have the entire field here. Now, obviously, some guys are like fractions of, like, very minimal percentages down here, down low, and some of these guys up here, but I'm pretty spread out this week. I think there's a ton of good plays. It's also a very chalky week, so if you guys are trying to get some fades or trying to fade some chalk and get pivots in tournaments, this is definitely a good week to do it, because there's going to be some very chalky guys for some drivers that I think are a bit underpriced for where they're starting. Holy crap, Jay. I really do appreciate that. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, appreciate it. I don't even know what to say. That's awesome. Thank you. But, Chris, who do you feel will be the winner today? Best choice in your opinion? It's the chalkiest answer, but it's going to be Chase Elliott for me. If Chase Elliott doesn't win, I'm thinking one of the Hendrick drivers could potentially take it, as good as they've been so far this season. I realize road courses are a bit different than normal, but the way they've been running this season, I mean, I think it's a very strong chance we get a couple Hendrick drivers in the top 5, like either Larson, Chase Elliott, William Byron, or Alex Bowman. But I guess the 2 solid answers I'd give you would be like a Chase Elliott or Kyle Busch. Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, or potentially Martin Truex. But I really do appreciate that, Jay. You did not have to do that, and I thank you very much. What's up, Brian? Nice to have you in here. Okay, Braden says favorite cash plays today. Martin Truex Jr. is going to be the guy you're going to have to start out with. Like, everyone's going to be playing Truex. If he fails today, it should matter in cash games. He should be the highest owned driver by far. And that would go with the same in tournaments, where he's going to be definitely the chalkiest driver. He should approach 45-50% owned today in tournaments. So You're going to have to try to figure out if you want to go underweight on that, even or overweight, but that's what I'm kind of assuming he's going to come in at. It's usually where like the most chalkiest driver usually comes in at around that percentage at a typical race, not like a super speedway or anything. But yeah, Martin Truex Jr., Christopher Bell is going to be chalky, Kurt Busch, Chase Briscoe, those kind of guys in cash games are what you're going to want to kind of go after, because with only 90 laps, you only have like 60 dominator points, so don't really want to roster too many guys starting up front in cash games. So for the most part, you can kind of play like a super speedway and just get place differential. What's up, Amanda? I think she said hit the like button. I would totally agree with that. Greg Orlando says, so Priest Alfredo or Briscoe Davison? Thinking the bottom is better. What do you think, Chris? Personally, if you're talking just like one lineup, you're playing one lineup today, I would not go with James Davison. Like, yeah, he's fine at road courses, but if I'm playing one lineup, I'm not going to bank on him. So I'd go with Priest and Alfredo just because I feel like just them together have a little bit more upside than James Davison does. Again, if I skip your question, you can say it again. Just don't spam it. I'm just kind of skipping around here, so I'm not like too far behind in chat. So Tyler says, so can I go single dom with pure placement differential, or do I need those guys that start 10 to finish 8? So if we're looking at the past optimal lineups at road courses, typically we see like the majority of the lineups are the guys starting closer to the back with maybe a driver or two starting closer to the front. So I wouldn't mind like mimicking that strategy today. Like, I have plenty of interest in all those guys starting in the top 10. Like, I'll have lineups with like Kevin Harvick, Bowman, and then I'll have a bunch of place differentials. So I think that's totally fine. But to be honest, I have no rules today. If I get 3 drivers starting in the top 10, is it going to look as sexy on paper as a bunch of place differential? No, it's not. But I think it could end up working out today because it's not the easiest thing to pass here at Sonoma. Let's see. Clint says, what do you think about Christopher Bell? I love Christopher Bell. He's actually one of my favorite plays today. We don't have much of an extensive road course history for him in the Cup Series, and it actually hasn't gone that well outside of the win at Daytona Roval earlier this season. But in the Joe Gibbs car, $8,400 starting 20th. I think he could have a very solid day today. I would not be surprised if he's inside the top 10. He's actually one of my higher projected drivers today. What's up, Peter? Nice to have you here. All right, let me scroll on the chat real quick. Let's see. OZ says McDowell, Chastain, or Briscoe. Between those guys, it's really close between Chastain or Briscoe. I'm going to go with Chastain just because he's starting a little bit farther back, and he looked really good at Coda. And I don't want to put too much of an emphasis on Coda because it was a downpour. There was puddles everywhere. No one could see, but he was really fast in that race, and that's a more technical road course rather than Daytona Roval. And yeah, starting 29th, I like him quite a bit. But I do like Chase Briscoe a lot, and he's like $800 cheaper. But if you have the price, if you have like the salary for Ross Chastain today, I like him quite a bit. But those are 3 of my more favorite drivers in the mid-range this weekend. Jay says fading Truex sounds good. It's definitely a good way to get different today because he's going to be so chalky. And, if it's going to be tough to pass, and usually we're guys, like, starting position is pretty important at a road course. Like, we want that track position. So if he's just kind of stuck around 10th place today, which is possible, that's going to be a really strong fit because a guy like Chase Elliott up front lead half the laps, or Kyle Busch. So just kind of depends on where you go. Obviously, he's a safe play. You're going to want to play him in cash games, but it definitely is interesting in tournaments if you want to go underweight on Truex to try to get some leverage. Plus, you could always wreck as well. Things that happen at road courses. David says, who is most likely to wreck today? I wish I knew. If I knew who was going to wreck every single week, we'd have our own islands. Unfortunately, I do not know who's going to be wrecking, but I'd say Bubba Wallace. He likes to wreck here at road courses. He has a terrible history here. We'll say Bubba Wallace most likely to wreck, but again, I have no idea. Let's see. Chris says, Cash, Truex, Kurt Busch, Harvick, Bell, and Newman. Last guy, Stenhouse or Suarez. So if you're playing cash games, I love Kevin Harvick in tournaments today, but I'm not going to play him in cash, Chris. I would rather play, let's see, he's $8,900, right? Yeah, $8,900. I would try to save some money, maybe get like a Chastain so you don't have to play a Suarez or Stenhouse, because those guys are a bit risky for cash games. So maybe if you can change Harvick to one of those more mid-range place differential guys, I'd feel a little bit better about that, because then you could get like a Ryan Preece or a Chase Briscoe down low instead of a Suarez or Stenhouse. So let me know if you could maybe make that work, and I feel a little bit better about that in cash games. Let's see. Sean says, Heidi ho, Chris. What's up, Sean? How about Chastain and Briscoe in the same lineup, which I have? I love that. I have plenty of lineups with both those guys together. They fit very nicely in lineups today, and they're some of my favorite plays in the entire slate. David says you're supposed to know these things. I have no idea who's going to wreck David. I'm sorry. If the race goes clean, I have a good idea where people are going to finish. But wrecking, anyone can blow a tire, unfortunately, which is why we never go 100% on drivers. Like Kurt Busch, Sorry, I'm just reading the Discord real quick. Like Kurt Busch, he looks like the most lock solid play today. You'd feel good about 100%ing him, but if he happens to wreck out, has a tire ratio, and he finishes 37th, he's going to bust your entire day. So that's why we never lock guys in NASCAR. Let's see, Priest or Jones? If you're playing cash games, DJ, I'm going to go Priest. If you're playing tournaments, I like Jones. Jones is a very good road course racer. I realize he's in the 43 car now, which is not the greatest, but at road courses, it's more of a skills-based track. Like, equipment doesn't matter too much. Like, we saw Dinger at the Roval. He went from near dead last to, I think he was inside the top 10, made the optimal lineup in the 16 car. So, equipment's not going to matter too much here. I would not be surprised if Jones can sneak inside the top 12, more so the top 15. He's got an average finish of 15th at the road courses this season, but I do like Jones quite a bit in tournaments this weekend. Daniel says, Blaney, Briscoe, Matty D. The chat's going a million miles per hour, which is fine. Fire away the questions, guys. So Daniel says, Blaney, Briscoe, Matty D, Busher, Kurt, or Jones. You can only have 4. I'm stumped. So you can only have 4 of these guys. So for sure, I'm going to take Briscoe. I'm going to take Kurt. So that gives us 2. And then you're probably going to want more of an expensive driver. So we'll go Blaney and we'll go Jones there. I like all those drivers, but I would go with those 4 between those. I think it was either 5 or 6 you listed. Unfortunately, there's no more spots left, Pugsley. My dad got the very last spot. I thought he joined, so I asked him, and there was 99 out of 100 left, and so he got the last spot, thankfully. So, oh, my dad's in here right now, speaking of him. Says, good job, GOAT. Good luck, everyone. Have to get some outside chores to do. Always have a great intellectual audience. Appreciate it, Dad. I wish you the best of luck on your chores outside today. It's a very nice day, so take advantage of that and get some sun. Let's see, David says, Chris just started playing MLB last few days, won 6K last night. Keep the videos coming. Oh, awesome, David. Really cool. Yeah, I don't post the MLB videos on the weekend, just kind of focus on NASCAR, but obviously I cover it on the Patreon every day. But glad to hear you're crushing it, David. Keep it up, man. All right, something went wrong, says YouTube didn't notify me. You're good, man. I had to make a new live stream. The other one just kind of looked like Eric Almirola every single week, went up to flames. I don't know what happened. Not know what happened. I'm going to scroll up a little bit, see if I missed anything really important. Well, good afternoon. I think I said that already. Okay, Alan says Almirola low owned seems like a great price and PD upside. I think we've been saying that every single week for like 2 months now. But I don't think Eric's going to go under owned. I mean, compared to like Chastain, he's going to be low owned. Compared to Michael McDowell, he'll be low owned. But Eric Almirola is not terrible at Sonoma. Like looking at his overall numbers, I mean, he does have a couple of top 10s in there, a couple of top 15s, but the way he's been running this season, I believe his average finish is 25th place, which actually isn't too far off of a guy like Anthony Alfredo. So I'm having a hard time trusting him. I went on a little mini Eric Almirola rant if you guys watched the preview video, but I do have a decent chunk of him. I think he can come in close to 15-20% owned today. I might be a little bit high on that, but it's just the place differential at a road course, which people are going to eat up. So I'm just trying to be purely even on the field on Almirola because I just cannot trust the guy this year, but he's in a good spot. I can't disagree with that. Franklin says you're fading Larson. I have some Larson. I'd like to fade him, but it scares me fading the best driver in the field, so I have some, but I definitely prefer Chase Elliott out of the front row drivers today. Dude says, who's the low-owned dark horse for the win pick in large GPPs for today? If we're talking about expensive drivers, I like Joey Logano today because I feel like Truex, Elliott, Kyle Busch, Larson, all these guys are going to have some ownership, and I think Kyle Busch could fly under the radar a little bit. Wouldn't surprise me if he came in, or I'm sorry, not Kyle Busch, Joey Logano would not surprise me if he came in below 20% owned today. But even then, the guy just keeps getting good finishes at road courses. Like looking at the past 6 races for him, his exact finishes have been pretty darn good. 3rd place at Coda, 2nd place at the Roval, 2nd place at the Charlotte Roval, 9th, 10th, and 23rd at Watkins Glen. But things happen. But I think Joey Logano is a really strong tournament play because I just don't think many people are going to click on his name. Plus, he hasn't exactly been the greatest thing in the world this year for DFS purposes. So I don't mind Joey Logano today. I don't think he's like a super dark horse, but I think he could get a little bit overlooked. I don't know if you guys would agree with that or not, but I do have some interest in Logano in tournaments today. Rated says, who gets the hot start and leads the first stage, Larson or Chase? If I had to pick between the two, I would say Chase Elliott. I mean, Chase Elliott's just so good at road courses. I realize that Sonoma hasn't been great for him, but it's going to happen at some point, and he'll probably end up winning his 7th road course race today. Definitely would not surprise me if that happens. Matthew says I look like Scott Eckert. Someone said I look like Kirk Cousins before. I've actually gotten that like 10 times. I'm not sure I really see it too much, but Alan says Logano's the only guy above 9,200 you're playing. You're not playing anyone above 9,200. It's bold. It's bold. Or did I read it right? You're not playing, or you are playing? Oh, okay, yeah. Only guy you are playing. Okay, that's bold today. We'll see how it goes. Kyle says Priest is a good pick today. I agree. I like some Ryan Priest today. He was like super hot to start the Coda race. I don't think he's going to do what he did last time at Coda, but I mean, starting 27th, he's got top 20 upside. He's actually been picking up some decent finishes at road courses, so I got plenty of interest in Ryan Priest. Like, that's a really good price range. That upper 6K, or really just the 6K and 7K range overall is really good this week. Like, so many good plays here. Almirola, Chastain, McDowell. You could even throw Custer in there, Chris Buescher, Jones, Briscoe, Priest, Ryan Newman. It's a really good range, which makes it not too hard to play some expensive drivers this weekend. Let's see. Luke says Kyle Busch, William Byron, Chris Buescher, Alex Bowman, Daniel Suarez will fly under the radar today. I agree with you, Luke. Those are some drivers that can fly under the radar today that I do like quite a bit in tournaments. It's a perfect answer. Little Hard Nuck says I feel like it's time Keselowski gets another one of his sneaky wins. I got some Keselowski in tournaments today. It's mainly just a price thing, and plus so many people are going to play Christopher Bell, and then people are going to just be enamored with the Hendrick driver, so people are going to play Bowman. I think people are going to play Harvick, so Keselowski might be a little bit sneaky there, and starting ninth at $8,500. I mean, we definitely have some top 5 upside there. He's not my favorite road course driver to roster, but kind of hard to pass up that price point. You're mainly just playing him for finishing position upside. Something went wrong says 4 drivers are quiet this season. They're definitely quiet. Penske's definitely behind. Stewart Haas and Penske are definitely behind Hendrick and Joe Gibbs this season. Ron says no one would put that curse on you, looking like Kirk Cousins, Vikings fan. When we have NFL season, I swear, like, comments every single week. They're like, you look like Kirk Cousins, and I Google a picture of him just to analyze it. I'm like, maybe I don't really see it too much. But any left for Ricky X Pedro? Just mainly a price thing, $6,100 starting 14th. I can't play 100% Newman. I can't play like 100% Priest and Briscoe, so he's mainly just to try to get a little bit different. Starting 14th, he's a guy that can hold his position, but it's mainly just a price thing because he's not going to grade out nearly as well as the place differential guys. But the way he's been running this season, it has been pretty solid, and I feel like his price is a little bit too low. All right, I'm just going to scroll up a little bit here. Dude says, when Almirola does Almirola things, at least he won't smack the wall at top speed. He can recover off the gravel without totally wrecking the car. That is totally true, dude. But I'm sure Almirola will find a way. He'll find a way to just get into the gravel and catch on fire or something. It's just his luck this season. The guy's been so unlucky. Matthew says you look like Kyle Busch. I know you're just kidding there. Definitely don't look like Kyle Busch. Let's see. Lauren says McDowell or Chastain. I like Chastain just because we get 8 spots more place differential there. If you're playing tournaments, McDowell's a better pivot off of Chastain, but overall I like Chastain today. Let's see, where we at? Chris says Papa Goat. Yep, made his brief appearance. Sean says we'll shoot him up against Chris's dad. No fair. Yeah, he had a few podiums so far this season. A little bit of a cold stretch right now, but it happens to all of us. JJ says, Chris, how about Austin Dillon finishing top 10? I'll tell you right now, Austin Dillon's one of the worst road course drivers out there. Like, the guy is just terrible. I know he had a decent finish recently, but if you're looking at his overall numbers at road courses, it's been pretty bad for the guy. Past 9 races because he was out for that one race. I think it was COVID. And then we had Kaz Grala come in who got a top 10 for him, but he's averaging a 25th place average finish, running position of 21.8, and he has 0 top 10s and 1 top 15. So I would say the odds are not on your side for Austin Dillon finishing inside the top 10 today. It's been a rough track type for him. Yeah, I don't really think that's going to change today. How many people are in here, by the way? Got to double check. 254, nice. We're almost at 100 likes. If we could get 100 likes, that'd be pretty cool. But I do appreciate everyone changing over live streams. All right, let's see. Someone said, can you say something about Heckert? I don't really have much interest, to be honest. I mean, these guys down low are going to need some carnage for them to pay off. And obviously, we're going to have some drivers have something to happen to them. So I'm sure a few will wreck out. But Heckert for BJ McLeod here, starting 35th. He finished 28th at Daytona Roval, but I'm not sure we can expect that again. I think he's got maybe some top 30 upside there, but I have like maybe 2% Heckert, 1 or 2% Heckert, and that's just because I'm having 150 lineups. Like if you guys are playing 20 lineups or 3 or 1, please don't play any of those guys down low. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it, and they probably won't be optimal in your contest anyway, even if they do have a good race, because people have limited lineups. Let's see. Proceeding or Jones in cash? I'm guessing you mean Priest. I'll go with Priest there. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I would go with Priest over Jones in cash. But if you're playing tournaments, I like Eric Jones quite a bit today. I'm not that scared of being in the 43 car. Obviously, it limits his upside, but I still think he has top 12 upside. Hecker, Ware, or Davidson? Ooh, gosh. Let me brush up on these starting positions. So Davidson's 32nd. Ware's 37th. Oh, gosh. If you just want to YOLO with Ware starting in 37th, it's okay. But I don't want to play any of those guys, to be honest. Okay, Greg says Truex, Chase, Larson, Chastain, Newman, Heckert. Hate it, love it. I mean, I like the drivers you have. Heckert makes me a little bit nauseous, but I mean, are you playing one lineup today? If you're playing one lineup, I would not play any of those scrubs. Like if I'm playing one lineup, the lowest guy I want to go is probably Alfredo, but even then, more realistically, Newman. So you might have to drop one of the Truex, Chase, or Larsons, but overall I like it. But Heckert's just a little bit gross. You hope Blaney wins today? I think someone asked me what's going on with Blaney. I don't know. He's just kind of been cold since Atlanta. I know he won the race, stole it from Kyle Larson, but he's just kind of not been. He's not been Ryan Blaney. I kind of retired the shirt for a little bit. I'm still president of the Ryan Blaney fan club, and I do have a little bit of him today, but I am planning on being underweight. I'm just not a big fan of Blaney today. I know I think the last 2 races at Sonoma, Watkins Glen, I think he finished 5th and 3rd, if I remember correctly, but I can name 10 drivers that I'll probably finish above Ryan Blaney today, so I'm not super excited about him. Amanda asked about Buescher. Buescher usually is just always inside the top 20 at road courses. Like, he's just been able to pick up good finishes, and he's been pretty darn solid this season. So I have a little bit of Chris Buescher just to try to pivot off of guys like Jones, Briscoe, and McDowell, because he should be a little bit lower owned because everyone's going to be focused on the place differential. But Buescher's one of those guys that should hopefully be able to use that track position to his advantage. And I don't think a top 12's out of the cards here. And I don't mind that price point. He's definitely a tournament play. I don't think I'd go there in cash game, so I do like him in tournaments. Someone said 200 likes. I don't think we're going to get 200 likes, unfortunately. Okay, I'm going to move up a little bit here. Matthew says, explain to me why everyone hates Kyle Busch. I went through Charlotte and everyone boos him. That's just the thing. Like, every sport's got its villain. Like, you know, in football, everyone hates Tom Brady. NASCAR, everyone hates Kyle Busch. Well, obviously, some people love Tom Brady and some people love Kyle Busch. It's just, he is a very polarizing figure because everyone thinks he's a crybaby. I personally like Kyle Busch. I got nothing wrong with him. I think he's an awesome driver. I mean, pretty much the most talented driver out there, him, Kyle Larson. But, yeah, I mean, he's just one of those guys people hate, and I don't really get it. I like Kyle Busch, but I can see why people don't like him sometimes because he can whine and, you know, yell a little bit, but I get it. Michael says Dominator points a thing. Not today, really. I mean, yeah, if a guy leads half the race, which, I mean, I'm playing finishing position for the most part, but yeah, some of those guys are going to dominate. Like, if Chase Elliott, would not surprise if he led like 40 laps today. It's certainly possible, but for the most part, you're just chasing finishing position upside and place differential. And those finishing position guys are guys that can potentially dominate too. What's up, Max? Good luck today. Yeah, good luck to you as well. How's this for cash games? Truex, Kurt Busch, Bell, Chastain, McDowell, and Newman. That's awesome, Max. I think you did an excellent job. I think mine's one different, but even then, I've considered that lineup. I think a lot of people in cash games today are going to have it's going to be the same lineup besides one guy, and McDowell's one of those guys where I think a lot of people are going to rotate the same lineup like you just sent, but it's either going to be like McDowell, Jones, or who else am I thinking of? Briscoe. I think those 3 guys are going to get rotated in cash lineups, and I feel like Briscoe or McDowell might be the most popular options there. Although I might be... Yeah, I know. Okay, I thought I was going to get confused really quick, but yeah, I know what I'm saying. Or Ryan Preece as well. That's the name I was thinking of. Let's see. DJ says Bell or Kurt Busch. I like Kurt Busch. I mean, he's just overall pretty much the best play on the slate. If he wrecks, it is what it is, but Kurt Busch is just an awesome play today. Really hard to get different from Kurt Busch in cash. Let's see. Matt says, what's the max ownership you have of a single driver? I don't have anyone above like 50 some percent today because I am very, very spread out because I think there's just so many good plays that usually on a slate there's some drivers where it's just like I don't want to play them, so I'm just going to X them out and I'll just be heavy on another driver. Like I was like nearly 80% Larson last week, but this week I think that you can make a case for pretty much everybody. Like would I like to be like 70% on Truex? Yes, but I don't think he's got a 70% chance of being optimal. So I don't think going above 50 something today if you're like 150 maxing, I'm just really spread out for the most part. Michael says, in your 150, what percentage of lineups roughly have neither Elliott or Truex? Oh, most of them pretty much do. Like those are my two heaviest dominator drivers today, or just expensive drivers if you want to talk about it. So there's very few lineups without those two, and a lot of them aren't together either. So like if the lineups I'm playing Chase Elliott, I'm just making him staying up front all day, and then Truex kind of dogging it a little bit. I do have some of them together, but it's not an overabundance. Let's see. Pater says Suarez or Newman for GBP. Suarez is going to be lower owned by a lot, but I'm still going to stick with Newman there. I'd rather get different somewhere else. Who do I think wins this race? Truex? I would personally just say Chase Elliott. I know that's the dumb, boring, not the dumb, boring answer, but the chalky, boring answer. But I mean, it's really hard to pick against Chase Elliott at a road course. Like he could very well have won the past six road course races. So I'm just not really willing to bet against him. If it's not Chase Elliott, I think Kyle Busch could definitely be a factor today. So I'm kind of like either Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch there. Which we haven't had many questions about Kevin Harvick, but I think Kevin Harvick is definitely, I don't know, he's not going to be a sleeper for DFS because he's below 9K, but he's honestly got I think he has a decent shot to win today. I mean, he's really good at Sonoma, like really, really good, and I realize he hasn't been great this year, but road courses are kind of a different beast, and Harvick owns this track. Yeah, I saw Bob pick Blaney. It made me a little bit happy. I don't see it happening, unfortunately, but if Bob's right about Blaney, I would not mind it as a fan. Now, DFS-wise, I probably would mind it a little bit because I'm not going to have too much Ryan Blaney. I'm not fading him, but I wouldn't mind seeing Blaney back in victory lane. Spread says Chase struggles at Sonoma, but he's honed his skills since 2019. Plus, he's had some issues, too, where he's been running well, and then the engine had some issues. So, I know he hasn't had the best history at Sonoma, but let's be honest, he'll probably win today. If this is just a clean green race, Chase is probably winning. Because this is one of those, Sonoma's like the true technical road course race where it's just driver's skill, and we know how good Chase Elliott is at road courses. Alright, I'm going to scroll up a little bit. In case I missed something, then I'll go back down. Joshua says, Almirola, Truex, Kurt Busch, Chastain, Custer, and Preece. This is pretty far back, so if you're still watching, Joshua, I do like that lineup. I like Truex a lot, love Kurt, like Preece. Custer's a little bit iffy for me today, but I do have some exposure to him. Chastain, yeah, I think that's totally fine, man. Looks pretty good. Okay, Sean says Larson or Kyle Busch in cash. I wouldn't play either in cash games, but if I had to pick one, it'd be Kyle Busch just because you get the extra place differential, but I'm not going to go with either in cash today. I think in cash games, the only drivers you should consider up top are Truex, Chase Elliott, and Kurt Busch, really. Harvick's due. Harvick is quiet today. I think Harvick's a good play today. He's actually one of my favorite tournament plays. I like being overweight there. I'm hoping he's not going to be super high owned just because he hasn't been great this year, but I mean, I realize just looking at track history is kind of not the most exciting thing to do because there's just so many factors, like from how they've been running this year, the kind of speed they've had, but he is really good at Sonoma. I know he finished 37th in COTA. He wrecked out, but he did finish 6th at the Daytona Roval earlier this season, so I don't think the top 5 is out of the cards here. I think it is certainly possible. Plus, in the past, he was terrible at Daytona Roval, and he's really good at Sonoma, so I definitely think we have some top 5 upside today. Maybe sneaky win upside. I'm not sure I'd bet on him winning the race, but you can get some decent odds there. Edwin says DK GPP single entry, Hamlin or Harvick last spot. I'll go with Harvick there, Edwin. Chris says Almirola or Chastain in cash. I'll go with Chastain there. Almirola is a better tournament play than anything today. I love Chastain in cash games. Sean says Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch. Got the Busch Bros there. Harvick, Bell, Jones, Newman for single entry. I think it looks really good, Sean. I like the Kyle Busch play in tournaments. Then you got some chalk there with Kurt Busch and Bell and Newman. Then you got some more tournament guys with Jones and Harvick. So I think that's really good for a single entry. For Larson to be optimal today, he's pretty much going to have to win. I mean, starting in first place, he's pretty much got to win today. So keep that in mind when you are rostering Larson. But as good as he's been this season, he probably should have won at Coda. If the race would have continued, Chase Elliott would have had to pit. So yeah, Kyle Larson's pretty much going to have to win, but it is certainly possible today, especially if he leads a decent chunk of the race as well. I appreciate it, Gerald. If you have a question. Okay, you do. Okay. Yeah, thank you very much, man. Harvick, Blaney, Kurt Busch, Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin, GPP. So let's see. We have our chalk drivers with Kurt Busch and Christopher Bell. Then to offset the chalk in tournaments, we have Hamlin, who should be very low owned today. I think out of like all the 9K drivers, Hamlin would be closest to being lowest owned. I think Byron and Ryan Blaney will be close to it, but Denny Hamlin certainly going to go under the radar today, and we obviously know he's pretty good, darn good at road courses. Harvick I like a lot in tournaments. Blaney, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of Blaney today, but he has been good in the past at road courses, so I'm not really betting against him. He just hasn't wowed me yet in a while, so I'm having a little bit maybe recency bias on Ryan Blaney, but I think that's a really good lineup, Gerald, and I'm definitely wishing you the best there. Appreciate the dono. Something Went Wrong says, who is going to the back? Before I got on here, I saw Anthony Alfredo going to the back, and I haven't seen anything since. If someone was saying something about Michael McDowell, either way, whoever went to the back does not concern me unless it's a guy like Kyle Larson or Chase Elliott. Like, it would worry me a little bit for Larson. Chase Elliott, not so much because it's Chase Elliott at a road course, but I haven't seen anybody else go to the rear. Why don't I like Custer? I don't not like Custer. I just don't love him either. I mean, I just prefer guys like McDowell, Chastain more, and that's kind of it. I mean, I have some Custer just to get off of those guys, but it's mainly just of where he's priced around. Like, I got nothing against him. He has top 15 upside, but I don't like him more than McDowell or Chastain. Brandon says, hit that like button. Totally agree, Brandon. Appreciate it. Which one are you more likely to fade in GPPs? Elliott, Truex, or Kurt? If you're playing in tournaments and you want to get the maximum leverage here, I would fade probably Truex between those guys. And that's not to say he's not my favorite play in the slate, because he is. But if you're just looking for maximum leverage there, fading Truex can get you there, and you can go heavier on guys like Chase Elliott and Kyle Busch. Chris Palmer says, GPP, Truex, Elliott, Harvick, Bell, Stenhouse, and Ware. Well, again, you're going to have to hope for something to happen for these backmarker drivers to get their positive place differential and be good plays, which is certainly possible. But outside of Cody Ware, I do like those drivers, so I have nothing against it, Chris. Just does worry me that you do have Cody Ware in your lineup. Alan says, what place would Truex and Elliott need to be optimal? I imagine 5th and 2nd. If you're playing Chase today, you're banking on him winning. Like, if Chase doesn't win today, you're going to be disappointed if you roster him, considering his price tag and where he's starting. Because if he doesn't win, as long as Truex doesn't wreck out, Truex should probably end up being a better play. So you're going to want Truex probably creeping inside that top 5, and you're going to want Chase Elliott to win. Or unless he leads like half the race and finishes 2nd, that's possible as well. I see Andrew's in here. Or if you guys don't know who Andrew is, I guess everyone calls him Brady. So DFS by the numbers. B-dubs this week. You skipped out on B-dubs last week. You had poor Juliana not get her tip from Donnie and you guys. But I'm definitely down to go Thursday if you want to go this weekend. Or this week. And I know you had a decent day in DraftKings on UFC, so you should be good to go. Pugsley says, or should I pivot to Harvick from Bowman? I like Harvick over Bowman. I like Bowman in tournaments just because I'm a big fan of all the Hendrick cars, like every single week now. Like I tweeted last week, I just need to start playing Hendrick cars, a decent chunk of them each and every single week as good as they've been this season, but I definitely prefer Harvick over Bowman. Can you do all PD here, says Matthew? You can. Now, I am rostering guys starting close to the front because I like the track position that they're going to have, but you can definitely go PD for the most part because if you're looking at the previous optimal lineups, a decent chunk of the lineups are place differential guys. And there's usually a couple guys closer to the front, but place differential is definitely going to be pretty important, especially if you are playing cash games. Jim says, Chris, for the 3rd time, Truex, Elliott, Harvick, McDowell, Newman, Alfredo. Thoughts? Sorry, Jim, I didn't see it. Let's see. I like it. Truex, Elliott, my 2 favorite guys up front. They're just very expensive. I like Harvick quite a bit. McDowell, Newman, Alfredo. I think that's perfectly fine. I'm kind of surprised that lineup even fits. I was thinking it's way over the salary budget, but I'm assuming it fits since you asked it, so I definitely do like it. Julian says, yeah, you better redeem yourself this week, Andrew. Yeah, you better come. Him and Donnie. Any love for Bowman today for a top 10? Yeah. I mean, Bowman's been very consistent at the road courses. Looking at his exact finishes, he's kind of been hovering around that 8th to 10th place range for the most part. So pulling up Bowman here. Whoops. Went a little bit too far. So Bowman 8th, 10th, 8th, 12th, 2nd, and 14th. So yeah, I can definitely get behind some Bowman today. I do have some exposure to him in tournaments. Plus, we know how darn good the Hendrick cars have been so far this season. So I'm not willing to bet against them. Let's see. Steven says, hey, Chris, I'm still learning your optimizer. It's probably not a good week to do it, but how many drivers from the 9 to 10K range would you put in before you optimize? Do you mean like locking guys, Steven? Because I'm not like, I just let it run for the most part. Like I've set some build groups most weeks, but for this week, I just set the randomness to a certain percentage, which you can ask me in Discord, and then I have the lineups and it just builds, and I set my exposures. So I don't have like anything rules-wise set for like drivers above 9K, so. If you want to ask me in Discord, we can kind of go over that after this, because we should have a little bit after that. What's up, Chris? Going to be a good race. Sorry I'm late. Was TIG welding and aluminum rim. Had to get it finished before leisure time. I have no idea what that means, Chris, because I don't know anything about welding, but do salute you for it. But glad you're here, man. Hopefully you have the best good week today. Or, yeah, you know what I mean. Tommy says, any spin house? A little bit, just mainly because of the price point. We talked about him a little bit earlier, and the only reason you're playing spin house is mainly just to try to get different off of guys like Newman and Priest for the most part, or Alfredo, because these guys are going to be pretty popular down low. But spin house is one of those guys that can hold himself a top 15. I just don't think it's the most likely thing out there. All right, I'm just going to check how many people are in here. 262. We did get over 100 likes, so that's pretty cool. 124. Okay, Smokey says Bowman, Elliott, Harvick, Keselowski, Stenhouse, and Buescher. I think that's a really good tournament lineup. Obviously, wouldn't go there in cash games, but in tournaments, I don't mind that. Those guys all have some pretty good finishing position upside. Where we at? Chris says best cash play 7,600 and below besides Newman. So 7,600 and below. So best cash play here, I would say Chase Briscoe, Ryan Preece. You can make a case for McDowell as well. If I had to pick one, I really like Chase Briscoe. I realize these rookie drivers and the second-year drivers haven't had any laps at this track, but keep in mind that Chase Briscoe actually ran the ARCA race here yesterday and won, so he actually got some lap time down there. We know he's a really good road course driver, so I'm a big fan of Chase Briscoe today. Michael says, Bubba Wallace has the team and financing necessary to succeed. He just sucks. Time to put the GOAT Quinn Half in the 23. I wonder what Quinn Half would do in the 23. I guess that'd be pretty interesting to see. But yeah, Bubba's been bad. I know he had that. Didn't he finish 11th recently? But he has been very disappointing this year. I definitely expected a lot more out of him. It's been a very disappointing season. And the rumors are that Kurt Busch is going to join that team next year. Obviously not in the 23 car. They're going to open up a second car. So that'll be kind of interesting to see where Kurt Busch does compared to what Bubba Wallace did, since they'll be in similar equipment. Also be kind of interesting to see how it performs compared to his Chip Ganassi ride. So I know that's not confirmed yet, but that'd be definitely pretty interesting to see next season. And Keselowski at Roush. Gun to head, Stenhouse or Alfredo, more points? Oh, gosh. I'll go with Stenhouse there, just hoping he doesn't wreck and he holds his position. Goodness, that's a terrible question to have a gun to your head. Tyler Reddick is better than Austin Dillon. I agree. Tyler Reddick's a very talented driver. If Tyler Reddick was in like a top tier team, like obviously the team he's on now is not terrible, but if he was like a top tier team, I definitely think he'd be having some really good races week in, week out. Just gonna scroll up a little bit, see if I missed anything super important. How worried am I about the guys going to the back? I'm not worried at all. Unless we get news like Larson goes to the back, I'm not really changing anything. I mean, these guys that are in the back already place differential guys anyway, so it doesn't really concern me. At the end of the race, they should be fine. There should be plenty of strategy involved and everything. Bojack says, Kurt being 23's top pick does not mean 23 is Kurt's top pick. And it's true. We got race sheets here, which is Phil from Osimo, Binder Phil, that a lot of you like to call him. Romanian or sumo deadlifts. I mean, I haven't deadlifted in a while. It always hurts my back, but if I had to pick one, I'll go sumo, because Romanian just not a big fan of those. But I'll go with the sumo there, a little bit easier in the back in my opinion. But yeah, I haven't deadlifted in a long time. Amanda says, Awesome live as usual. Appreciate it, Amanda. Make sure to like the video to help our guy out. See most of y'all in Discord. Yeah. If you guys want to join the party over in Discord, you can come in after the live stream and we'll have a good time during race day. Then we'll have Andy do some karaoke later on. Michael says, I like Chastain today, but he's hard to commit to. He's always a wild card, man. Like, we know with Chastain, he could be like trying to get checkers or wreckers very easily. So you got to be careful with him. But if he has a clean race today, I think there's definitely a top 15 potential. I love the speed he had at Coda too. Sean says, 262 people in here in the Sungman answering questions on his own. Can he get 200 likes? Appreciate it, Sean. Thank you very much. Yes, the likes do help me out. Federico says, hey, Chris, you're walking on the street. Someone comes up to you, slaps you, says to you, what do I have to do to win at NASCAR DFS this weekend? That'd be an interesting scenario. Well, I would tell them that you shouldn't slap people because that would hurt. And then secondly, I would tell them to mainly focus on some of these place differential guys today. If you are playing like in cash games or single entry GPP, then maybe roster a guy closer to the front just to kind of offset that if you are playing in tournaments. But for guys like Kurt Busch, Chastain, Briscoe, Preece, McDowell, Chastain, I think I already said Chastain. These guys are going to be very popular plays today and for a good reason. So if I had to like gun to my head, those are like my favorite plays. I mean, yeah, the place differential guys are going to get out very well today, and Martin Truex Jr. up top. All right, it's going up a little bit here. Suarez or Stenhouse in cash games? I wouldn't go either in cash games, but if I had to pick one, goodness, I guess I'll go with Suarez just because he's starting a little bit further back, but I don't want to play either in cash games today. Jordan says, what's good, brother? What's up, Jordan? Hope you're doing good. Love C-Bell today. I'm right with you, Jordan. I forgot to mention I like Christopher Bell a lot today, too. I guess I'm looking at my spreadsheet, just kind of hiding there between Keselowski and MDB for some reason. But yeah, I love Christopher Bell today. Love him. Bell says, can Larson hold first? I think he can, which is why I have a decent chunk of ownership to him today. But I think it's more likely that Chase Elliott takes over early on. But yeah, I mean, as good as Kyle Larson's been this year, it's really hard to bet against him. So I have exposure to him just because of that. Like, I cannot ignore how good he's been. But I don't think he's as likely to lead laps today as Chase Elliott. Let's see. Clint says, thanks, spread. Jay says, will Truex win his third straight Sonoma race today? My lineups would hope so. I have a good chunk of Truex today because he just grades out so well. Like, I know he's going to be chalk today, but it's really hard not to like Truex. I realize he doesn't have the track position, but starting 19, we have less than 100 laps here, not many dominator points. We're going to want to play some Truex today. Something went wrong. Says, if Larson dominates, I have a high feeling he will choke again. Yeah, how many second place finishes does he have this year? Anyone know that off the top of their head? How many second place finishes he had this season? I know it's a handful, but I don't know the exact number. Greg says, Kurt Busch and Preece or Bell and Chastain? Ooh, that's a really good question. Those are like some of my 4 favorite drivers of the entire slate today. Since Kurt Busch is just such an awesome play, I'll roll with him. But I do like both, but I'll go with Kurt there. Girlfriend says, I bet you're jealous I'm laying out in the sun while watching your stream. I got to do an outside stream or something because I am missing the sun right now. It's very nice where I'm at, which is very rare. So I'm probably going to watch the race outside today. But yes, I am jealous. Caden says, Newman today. I like Newman a lot. He's definitely good at preserving his tires, and Sonoma's not been a bad track for Ryan Newman. I don't think we've talked about him, about his numbers all stream, but looking at his Sonoma record, 3 top 10s, 5 top 15s, average finish of 12.3. I realize it's never fun playing the vanilla ice cream man, which is what I like to call him because he's a very boring driver. He finishes like around 15th place most races, but if he finishes 15th today, starting 24th at $6,400, right? Yeah, $6,300, even better. I mean, I'll take it all day. So definitely big on Ryan Newman today. He screwed me last week. I had a chance to take down the qualifier until he decided to hit the wall. Jim says, would you go with a combo of the Busch brothers today? Yeah, I love the Busch brothers today. I like Kurt more than I like Kyle just because there's way less risk with Kurt here, but I think Kyle Busch should be one of the favorites to win this race. I know his Roval record's terrible, so that's kind of skewing his road course numbers overall down recently, but this definitely isn't as comparable to a Roval race, and it is like a more technical track, and we know Kyle Busch is very good at road courses. Tommy says, I feel like Kurt always disappoints when he has chalk. He's disappointed almost every race this year. almost every single race. Although his best finish of the season was at a road course, Daytona, earlier this season, where he finished fourth. And that was after he was in first place and just forgot to turn and went through the grass. So he got a little bit lucky on strategy there at the end, but he was definitely having a really good race. Michael says, all right, sorry. Okay, Michael says, you always say you don't mind some of the hatred drivers, but make some people mad and give us a driver you can't stand. I don't like Austin Dillon very much. And it's not just because like I don't like him personally, but ever since the Daytona race, Daytona 500 where he won, and it was very risky of me, but I had like 96% Almirola because he was starting dead last, and Almirola was in first place. Honestly, could have won the race, and Austin Dillon wrecked him. And obviously my lineups went down with him. So I've never liked Austin Dillon since then. Like, yes, there's some times where I like Austin Dillon for DFS purposes, but he's definitely one of my least favorite drivers out there. So I don't know if anyone's a big Austin Dillon fan. I'm sorry. I just don't really like him too much. Dude says, reminder, place differential is a bit less important on FanDuel as it is only half point per heat. That's a good call, dude. Thank you for mentioning that. Yes. I don't really play FanDuel, so I never talk about it. But yes, on FanDuel, place differential isn't as big of a factor as it is on DraftKings. Thoughts on Bell, Jordan S. I love Christopher Bell today. He did win the Daytona Road Course earlier this season. Yes, there was a caution for rain, which kind of screwed Chase Elliott, but Christopher Bell should have top 10 upside today. I feel like he's a bit underpriced for where he's starting, and he's in a JGR car, which they've been awesome so far this season for the most part. Not quite Hendrick, but they've definitely been the second best team. So I do like Christopher Bell quite a bit. Jordan says, bet bro, I didn't think you saw what I said. Let's get this bread today. Yeah, let's do it, Jordan. Hoping so. It's probably one of those races where, and I feel like at road courses, you never know if you're doing good or not. Like at Coda, I had no idea if I was doing good the entire race because there was like half the field was on different tires, half the field pitted at different times. I was like, I have no idea if I'm doing good or not at all. So that was a weird race, but I don't think that's going to be probably won't be as much of the case today. Shouldn't be as crazy. Bojack says he didn't forget the turn, he hit the curb and got loose. I like the term of him forgetting the turn. It makes me feel a little bit better that he did that. But unfortunately, he still got his top 5 finish, which was fine. So that's all I needed from him because I was actually like most overweight on Kurt Busch that day. So when he went to the back after that, that was terrible for a little bit, but got a little bit lucky at the end there. Joshua says Kyle Larson, the not top 5. Minus 130, I think it's 50-50, but those are pretty good odds. Going to take the risk. Yeah. And look, I can name drivers that could definitely finish above Kyle Larson today, like Martin Truex Jr., Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, even Kevin Harvick, Kurt Busch, Bowman. These guys are all good road course drivers, so I wouldn't say Kyle Larson's a lock the top 5 today, so I don't hate it, but the way he's been this season, he's just been so good. Jay says, last driver in, Ricky or Alfredo, single entry GPPs. I think I had a question like this earlier. I went with Stenhouse. I want to say Alfredo because I think Alfredo could finish top 25 and Stenhouse could easily just be like a 20th place guy. But I'll go Stenhouse there. I think he could hold ground for the most part. Reddick or Almirola in GPP. I like Almirola more. I realize Reddick has been better than Almirola this season, but I think he just makes more sense starting 16 spots further back. I apologize in advance though when Eric Almirola just bursts in flames at some point. Like, we're going to hear them say, whoa, somewhere in the broadcast, and then we'll see Almirola's car on fire just sitting in the gravel or something. I didn't pair them too much together. Truex and Chase, it's just mainly a price thing. I just don't think it's super likely that they're both going to be optimal today. I do have some, but not a lot. It's mainly just one of these expensive drivers, and then some 9K and 8K guys. Dude says Austin is related to Ty, so I understand your hatred. Down with the Dillons. I like Ty Dillon though. Ty Dillon won me my first tournament ever. It was like in 2000. I forget what year it was, but I was still in school, and Ty Dillon, I think it was Bristol, and Ty Dillon won me a tournament. So I liked him ever since. I think he's actually won me a couple. So shout out to Ty. I know you don't like Ty, but I do like him. Pedro says GPP Chase and Larson same lineup. How bad or good could it be? Ooh. It's something really risky today. They're going to have to finish 1-2 for the most part. If they don't finish 1-2, I'm going to have a hard time seeing that work out like optimal. Like you could still cash probably if they finish like somewhere in the top 5, but to be optimal, they're pretty much going to have to finish 1-2 for the most part and lead some laps as well. Michael says, I'm curious if Jordan has brought many new fans to NASCAR. I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not really sure Jordan's crowd is probably huge on NASCAR, really. I mean, I'm sure it's gotten some people over, but it'll be interesting to see. Matthew says, pick a car. I'll pick one versus you. What do you mean, like a NASCAR driver or just like a DFS pick today? Gary says, who to pick with Truex, Logano, Larson, or Elliott? I'll probably go Elliott there. If you compare Elliott and Truex together, I mean, those are the two best road course drivers. I have no problem with that at all. Let's see. Sorry, just looking through the chat here really quick. Okay, so it's 3:30. We'll probably go around 10 more minutes. I think we started at 2:40. I was supposed to start at 2, then I moved it to 2:30, then we didn't start till 2:40 because I screwed the live stream up. Okay, Matthew says, Cheapy, pick one, and I'll pick one. Whoever gets more points wins. I'll take Ware under 5K. Okay, so we're talking... If it's below 6K drivers, I'll take Alfredo. But if you mean like a pure scrub driver, I'll go with... Oh, I guess just give me Heckert. We'll go Heckert versus Ware. Why not? Bill says, I stood up late today. Would you put Davison in 20 max? I would not. I'm only playing those scrubs if I'm playing 150 lineups today. That's it. I mean, their upside is just limited. You're going to need some guys to wreck, which is only possible at a road course, and Davison's not bad at road courses. It's just, if I'm playing 20 lineups, I don't see the need to even go down there, because you can build lineups pretty easy today. The pricing is soft for the most part, so that's why I'm not thinking we really have to dig down that deep too much. Skowski says Briscoe versus Busher. I like Briscoe. Briscoe's very good at road courses. He did well at Coda, and I realize he doesn't have much experience here, but the ARCA race I think is going to help him a little bit. So starting 25th, I'll take Briscoe, especially since he's starting like 13 spots further back. Suarez thoughts. Suarez is a guy where he was actually fine at Sonoma Watkins Glen in the past when he was in better equipment. Now that he's in the 99 car, it's definitely better than the 96 was last year. I think he could be a sneaky top 15 guy, but I'm only playing him in tournaments. Like, someone was asking me about Stenhouse and Suarez in cash games. I can't play them in cash games today. I'm going to have to strictly go in tournaments. Best track to watch NASCAR? My personal favorite's Bristol. Daytona or Bristol. I mean, Bristol is just the short bank track. I mean, it's awesome. Action pretty much every single second. Lap cars are always a factor. I love Bristol. Absolutely love it. And obviously Daytona for obvious reasons. We did not practice this week, unfortunately, Jay, which was awesome last week having practice, because the cars that were fast in practice were faster in the race. And it was just nice because it made sense. Like back in the day, we always had practice, and the cars that are fast in practice are typically faster in the race. Like Byron, super fast. Larson, fast. Elliott, fast. Austin Dillon, Tyler Reddick, probably forgetting someone. If I didn't mention Byron, all those guys were fast in practice, and they were fast in the race, and they all finished well for the most part. Logano or Kyle Busch? I like Kyle Busch. I think he's got a better shot of winning the race today. But both are good plays, because I like the place differential upside for Logano, but I think Kyle Busch has a better chance of winning, so I like the upside there in tournaments. Am I doing any NFL lives this year? I'm not sure, because NASCAR is going to be on Sundays, and it's just... I'm going to have to do content for that, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Maybe we could do like a hybrid NFL NASCAR stream, maybe? I don't know. I'm just trying to think of ideas here. Maybe like a NASCAR NFL stream, but that could get a bit chaotic doing two different sports at once, so I'm not really sure. Kevin says Briscoe had practice technically. Yeah, at the ARCA race. I think that's going to definitely be something helpful for him, because a lot of those rookie drivers and second-year drivers have never seen Sonoma before, because we haven't raced here since 2019. They don't do it in the Xfinity or Truck Series, so... I mean, Briscoe getting laps down yesterday and winning that race, I think, is definitely going to be helpful for him. Best value pick, says Philip. How cheap are we going? But I guess, like, overall value, like, as cheap as we can go is Ryan Newman. I think he's an excellent value play today. Worst track is Dover. You don't like Dover? That was the Hendricks show a few weeks ago. All right, we have a few more minutes, so if you have any really important questions you want to ask, you should probably ask them now. Then we'll probably get out of here, and I'm going to upload my lineups. I have them crunched and ready to upload, but I don't think I uploaded them yet, so don't want to forget. Yeah, Dover was pretty boring a few weeks ago, if I remember correctly. I think I stopped watching for even for a little bit. Got some food. Bress, Brasuve. I'm not sure. Custer, Busher, or Eric Jones. Whoops. Between those three, I like Eric Jones. Yeah, green flags at 414s. I think DK locks at 412, if I remember correctly. I'm not sure if FanDuel locks that. So I'm probably going to off here in like a few minutes and then have time to grab some food, get ready for the race, and hopefully not watch our drivers turn into the wall. Willie B is a very risky play today, but I have a rule now where I'm going to be playing 100 drivers pretty much every single week. So I do have some Willie B, but out of the 400 drivers, I am lowest on Byron today, and that's mainly just due to price and starting position. You as well, Clint. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I'm just excited for the Talladega Fall race. Oh, yeah. Definitely. I just love all the super speedway races. They're so exciting. Usually, although the Daytona 500 this year, at the beginning it was good because they were, racing each other hard. But after they had the big one and the rain delay, I think I fell asleep during stage 2. Like, they were just single file train the entire time. It was terrible. They pretty much did that until, like 1 or 2 laps left, and there was the big wreck where Logano and Brad Keselowski. But that was a terrible race. Usually I really enjoy Daytona, but that sucked. Let's see. Kelly says, thank you. You're welcome, Kelly. Alan says, Suarez or Stenhouse last driver for GPP. That's a popular question today, Suarez or Stenhouse. I will go with Suarez there, but it's very, very close. Michael says, I think the 2311 team plan was centered around the new car next year. Team build year for Bubba. Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, the next gen car coming soon. We'll see how it is next year for Bubba. Plus, we'll have practice back. We'll have qualifying, so they'll actually get to have some practice, more time in the shop and things like that with COVID pretty much done. So I think next year will definitely be a better test for them than this season. But they are playing on the same playing field as everybody else, but I realize they're a brand new team. But, Trackhouse racing has definitely been better, so it's just kind of hard to make comparisons. Dega is the best. Dega is pretty awesome. Now, I'm not sure if I like Dega or Daytona better, but both are really good. They Daytona night races are always really fun, especially last year since it was the playoff cutoff race. Let's see, Bell, Eric Jones, or Kurt and Priest. I will go with Kurt and Priest there. I love Kurt Busch today, so I'll go with Kurt. Yeah, I agree with Jarrell there, or Bell and Kurt. Yeah, I guess you could do that. Let's see. Something went wrong. Kurt Busch is moving to... Yeah, that's the rumors. I think we got... How long ago was that rumor? Was that last week? But yeah, they said he's pretty much the front runner. Like, pretty close to being confirmed that he's going to be their next driver. They're going to have a second car open up. Don't like single file Daytona? Yeah, single file Daytona is never fun. But when they're actually racing hard, that's pretty exciting. You're welcome, Jim. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah, I'm probably going to hear like a minute or two. So if you have any... questions you really feel antsy about getting answered, I will be more than happy to answer them. Peter says Bell or Keselowski for my last play. I'll go with Bell there. I like Bell a lot today. Jason says Mr. Cousins, Newman or Priest and Cash. Thanks. I'll go with Newman there. I'm actually having that same dilemma because I have enough money for both. We might have the same cash lineup actually. I was deciding between Newman and Priest. Right now I have Newman. I'm trying not to pivot off of that. You're welcome, Mike. You're welcome, Michael. You guys make it fun for me. I just sit on here and answer questions, so you guys are the entertaining part for me. So I do appreciate everyone that does stop by. And I appreciate the dono from Jay Marsh. I think that's what his name. $50. That was really nice of you. Thank you so much if you're still here. I think I'm going Busher and Jones. Those are really good tournament plays. I really like Jones in tournaments a lot today. He's good at road courses. I realize the car he's in not the best today, but it's mainly a skills track, and Eric Jones, pretty talented driver for the most part. You're welcome, Jason. Top 3 GPP, price don't matter. Oh boy, well, I'll give you a few I like. Like, I love Kevin Harvick today. I like Alex Bowman in tournaments. I think Kyle Busch and Joey Logano are good tournament plays. So those are some good pivots off of some of those chalkier drivers up top here. Kevin says, do I use my first place lineup in your tournament for bigger tourneys today? If you want to. Are you calling yourself getting first place today? Calling your shots? Heckert to the rear? He's already there anyway. He's starting 35th, right? Yeah, 35th. He's already in the rear. JJ MVP with the $50 donation. Yeah, for sure. I don't know how to keep that on here or put on the screen. I would if I could, but I do appreciate that. All right, guys, I think I caught up, so I'm probably going to end it here. I do appreciate everyone stopping by. If you haven't watched the preview video yet, you got like 30 minutes, so you might be able to get it down if you have any questions there. But everyone that joined the contest today, wish you the best of luck. Not as much luck as I wish myself, but I wish you guys the best of luck in the tournament today, and hopefully everyone crushes the contest they're in overall today. And I appreciate everyone stopping by, and we'll see you next week for the All-Star.